We got a major shakeup inside of the Trump administration. So Donald Trump has removed Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, aka the Ice Barbie, from her position, ending her time leading the Department of Homeland Security. The White House announced the move yesterday on Thursday. Trump said he plans to nominate Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin to replace her, who's probably going to be worse. But Mullin would have to be confirmed by the U.S. Senate. The Department of Homeland Security is one of the largest agencies in the federal government. It oversees immigration enforcement, border security, disaster response, and agencies including immigration and customs enforcement, customs and border protection, FEMA, the Transportation Security Administration, and the Secret Service. Noem, who is the former governor of South Dakota, had been one of the most visible voices behind the administration's immigration crackdown. Her tenure at DHS focused heavily on enforcement, expanding detention of migrants, increasing deportations, and carrying out large immigration operations in major cities. Several of those operations drew national scrutiny. One of the most controversial incidents came during a federal immigration operation in Chicago, where authorities deployed heavily armed agents and used a freaking Black Hawk helicopter. Images from the operation went viral and triggered protests from local officials and immigration advocates, who said the tactics resemble a military-style raid. There were also 2 fatal encounters involving federal immigration agents, further intensifying criticism of DHS. So on January 7th, Renee Good was murdered by an immigration and customs enforcement agent during an enforcement operation. Federal officials said the agent believed he was in danger during the encounter, but then weeks later, on January 24th, Alex Preddy, an ICU nurse in Minneapolis, was executed by Border Patrol agents during a confrontation while he was filming immigration enforcement activity. Both incidents sparked protests and investigations and became major points of criticism for immigration advocates and some lawmakers. Immigration advocacy organizations reacted quickly to the news of Noem's removal. Vanessa Cardenas, executive director of the immigrant advocacy group America's Voice, said replacing the DHS secretary does not change what the organization describes as enforcement-first immigration strategy. Advocates say the deaths of Good and Preddy reflect what they describe as excessive force by federal agents. Okay, some activists and protesters went further, saying they viewed the killings as acts of state violence and many saw them as murder. Supporters of the administration's policies argue that tougher enforcement measures are necessary to control illegal crossings and enforce federal law. If confirmed by the Senate, Mullin would take over an agency responsible for border security, immigration enforcement, disaster response, and counterterrorism.